Hello ladies, Angela Simpson here. I really want to bring to you a topic that I think is quite distressing for women as they move into the perimenopausal and menopausal transition. And not every woman has this, but if you do have this, it can be quite distressing and stressful. And that is hair loss. Thinning of the hair, noticing if you do have long hair like I do, that the ponytail is getting smaller and smaller, or if you're brushing your hair and you're noticing the brush fill up with big clumps of hair. Some women are noticing that it's falling out in the shower more consistently and sometimes quite alarmingly high amounts. And they're wondering, what can I do about this? What's going on with my body? Why is this happening? How do I make it stop? Many women tell me they feel like they're going to be bald within a month or 2 or 3 if they don't figure out how to stop and slow this down. So I want to let you know that it is not uncommon to have changes to your hair health as you age. It is common for women to have a little bit of thinning to their hair as the estrogen and progesterone levels lower. So estrogen is really one of the main hormones that helps us maintain our hair health, and it keeps it more full, which is why many women, if they do have thick hair, it's more often in that earlier part of life versus later. But women that do have thin hair, maybe right from the get-go, and they're noticing more thinning at this time of life, it can be quite distressing. So no matter what, we don't want to have excessive hair loss as we move into the perimenopause and menopause shift. This can start as early as the age of 35, but for most women, it starts in your mid to late 40s and early to mid 50s. This shift where the hormone levels drop enough that we eventually stop having a period, and that's perimenopause, that shifting, that transitional time. Menopause is once we have not had a period for 12 months or longer, we're typically in that time where we're in that menopause shift and we're not going to have our cycles come back. And the hormone levels have dropped enough that, again, we're not having a period, and we can also have some other changes happening in our body. Hair health is one of them, but it's not just about our hormones. Hair health is also supported by other hormones in the body, such as our thyroid hormones. And many women are not getting the proper thyroid testing to understand that the thyroid is a component of your hair health. It is also common for thyroid hormone levels to lower gradually as we age. For some women, this can happen more quickly or more drastically. Some women do actually end up, and they may not even know it yet, but they may be on the way to or already have an autoimmune thyroid condition such as Hashimoto's, which is quite a common condition. And this condition actually is on the rise in our population in North America and in the first world for many different reasons, as is other autoimmune conditions. So we need to make sure that we're checking our numbers and we know what our hormone levels are. We know what our thyroid numbers are. We need to make sure that if we are getting our thyroid hormones checked, that we're getting a complete thyroid panel. It's very common for women to say, I've had my thyroid checked and it looks normal, but they've only had a TSH checked. They haven't had a complete panel to look at your T4, your T3, your reverse T3, and the thyroid antibodies. So this gives us a whole picture of how the thyroid is functioning. And if it is under functioning, it's more common to have hair loss. That's called hypothyroidism. We've got to know our numbers, and then from there, we've got to figure out what do we do to help us restore and improve our hair health if our hormone levels are lowering. Sex hormones, potentially thyroid hormones, and there also can be other imbalances that cause hair loss. There are some B vitamins, biotin being one of those B vitamins. That level is actually very important to also maintain not only our hair health, but our skin and our nail health. It keeps our nails strong, and it also keeps our skin healthy. We need to understand what other minerals or vitamins could we potentially be deficient in, and there can be more than one. There's many minerals that support our hair health. Iron is one of them as well. Often when they're in perimenopause, they can have times where they're having heavier periods, heavier bleeding, it may be lasting longer, and you sometimes can be at higher risk for being deficient in iron if you are having this type of cycle. So that is something that needs to be checked again on blood work. The ferritin, which is the iron stores, is not enough. We need to have a complete iron panel to understand how your body's not only storing, but utilizing iron too. The first step is know your numbers, and so you need to work with a practitioner such as myself, a functional medicine practitioner, someone who is trained in this area, who knows first what to test, how to get the testing done, and also how to interpret it to help you. And then from there, it's really important to develop an individualized plan. If you're working with a practitioner one-on-one, this becomes easier than trying to navigate it and Google it yourself. So I work with women all the time, and the first thing that we work on is nutrition, and then we also typically have to work on some other things that can be contributing to either mineral deficiencies or hormone deficiencies, and very commonly we have to work work on some lifestyle factors that are tied into stress. If we're under a lot of stress, our cortisol is high, more often than not, this can also deplete our hormones more quickly. So it really is a whole body approach we have to take, and to prioritize what areas of your lifestyle you need to work on. It's really important to have this pinpointed by a practitioner. I hope if you are suffering from hair loss, if you're finding it quite distressing to feel that ponytail thinning, or you're just having more and more hair being pulled up by the brush, you're seeing that you're having your hairline going further and further back, or you're noticing areas in the scalp where there's thinning or patching, that you do reach out, because I do work with women all the time that are suffering from this. I was at a point quite a few years ago now where my hair was thinning drastically. I was having that like clumps coming out in the shower, the brush was full of hair, and I was wondering, what am I going to do? Like, what's going on here? And for me, I had to get to the root of it by understanding what was going on with my gut health. I had several nutrient deficiencies, and the reason just putting the nutrients back in wasn't enough for me by taking a multivitamin or vitamins that help those mineral levels come up. I needed to work on my gut health to improve my ability to absorb my nutrients, both from food and then from supplements where I was deficient. And from there, my hair health and the strength of my hair gradually improved. But it took a little bit of time. It took me 6 to 8 months to feel like my hair, instead of thinning, it was actually staying and starting to get thicker again. But it can happen for you too. The key is to figure out, again, the root cause of what's going on for you. Is it the thyroid? Is it the lowering hormones? Is there nutrient deficiencies? Is there lack of absorption in the gut? We need to understand that through proper labs. So if you want to reach out to me, please feel free to connect anytime. You can go to my website, www.angelasimpsonfunctionalmedicine.ca. I'd be very happy to connect with you. I do have one-on-one free discovery calls for 20 to 30 minutes where we get on a call and we discuss, what are your top concerns? What have you tried? What's worked? What hasn't? Is it potentially a good fit for us to work together? And if so, I will let you know what that would look like, and we can formulate a plan to help you gain success with improving your hair health as you move towards and into that transition into perimenopause, menopause, and beyond. And if you're suffering from other hormone imbalance symptoms and you want to connect with me on that, well, the other thing I hope that you'll be able to do, if you haven't already, is to make sure that you do like me on my social channels, so on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram. If you're not already a member of my private Facebook group, please ask to join, because I am going to bring you more and more information week by week, month by month. I have quite a library of topics on how to learn how to rebalance your hormones naturally as a female as you move towards and into that perimenopausal, menopausal shift. And I can't wait to share more and more information with you on these topics. Thanks so much. Take care, and I'll see you again soon.